So it's been a great tradition. David is a very busy person with books, and we're going to hear more about what you've been up to with Yahoo, which is wonderful. And he has some kids, two of which are now in high school. And so we're hoping to hear sort of your perspective on families, kids, and so on. Always insightful. David, we promise you a fireside chat, even a piano. I don't see those things. This is a low-budget kind of thing. We do have a Fire app, so we're going to just set that behind you, and we're going to have a fireside chat. David Pogue, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much. So hi, everybody. It is indeed my first time at CES in my new role with Yahoo, a company that I made fun of many times in my 13 years at the New York Times. So it's a logical question for you to say, you know, what the hell? So I never thought that I would leave the New York Times. I thought the New York Times was the ultimate gig. My parents certainly thought I would never leave the New York Times. But it is 13 years of doing the same 1,280 words every Thursday. And Yahoo came a calling last summer and proposed something much bigger and much more creative and much more ambitious, which was, in their words, anything you want. So the guy's exact words were, and I said, what do you have in mind? You want me to just write a column? You want me to launch a website? Is it an app? Is it a conference? And his words were, yes, we want to be your playground. Which is just like, you can't say that to a creative nut like me and you know, expect not to perk up the interest. I mean, I guess you know, I'm not, I've never taken a PC apart. I don't code. In many ways, I'm an outsider as a technologist. I started out my life as a Broadway conductor. I conducted Broadway shows for 10 years and played piano in pit orchestras and did musical arrangements. This whole technology thing is just it's a hobby. It's a fluke. If I have one ace in the hole as a writer, that's it, that I'm not really a technologist. I represent my readership. I come to it from the outside. So anyway, so this was the summer, and I was still unconvinced, and I went to Yahoo to visit. And I spent 2 days out there, and I met so many people and ate in the cafeteria. Actually, that's what decided it right there. They have the most amazing food, and it's unlimited and free. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. Well, it is there. It's in Sunnyvale. Can't wait to go back. But anyway, and what I discovered was that Yahoo has a little secret. The company has completely changed since the last time the public took notice of it. So, and when I mean change, I mean literally it is a different company. They have 14,000 employees. Of those, 42% were not there a year ago. When Marissa Mayer came in as the new CEO, 42% of those people were not there. It is, in essence, a new company. Everyone I met had this like fire in their belly and these like burning eyes, and there were cars in the parking lot till 10 on Friday nights. It is, for all intents and purposes, a startup. And this plays in perfectly to my philosophy about technology companies and people, which is that once you become wildly successful at something, your tendency is to want to protect that which made you successful. So you take Microsoft, for example, you know, Windows, Office, huge mega hits that changed millions of lives. And then after that, the project became, how do we protect that so nothing happens to that? You become less willing to take risks. You become more, you dig in, you keep repeating what you did to make you a success the first time because it worked before. So you become unwilling to change and unwilling to try new things. And the same happens in reverse when you're failing. If you're a company on the ropes, like Yahoo, let's face it, was on sort of an underdog position a year ago. And when they're on the ropes, they have nothing to lose by experimenting and trying new things and acting like a startup. And that was it, man. That was, I met these people, and they were just like, and they have all these projects. They have all these plans and products that are all secret. You don't know about them yet, but they're, you know, like planes ready to land at an airport. They're all circling, ready to land, and they know it, and the public doesn't. And they're all, so it was totally intoxicating. So I proposed a website. My perception of the world's technological savvy is formed by, first of all, my first few years when I was doing the Broadway shows on the side, I was training people. I was making house calls and teaching people their computers. And then I wrote for computer magazines for 13 years, the New York Times for 13 years, 1,000 emails a week, 50 talks a year all over the country, writing computer books for beginners. I did 7 of the Dummies books. I've done 75 missing manuals for beginners. So trust me when I say I think I have my pulse on the portion of America that feels overwhelmed by technology. So this is what I think. And I was on Marissa Meyer's keynote yesterday. I don't know if any of you have been seeing me getting beat up on Twitter, but I had this funny slide, or I thought it was funny, where I did parodies of the logos of all the websites that cater to technology people whose lives are technology gearheads, people whose hobbies are feeds and speeds and bus speeds and Snapdragon processors, and they have Google Plus accounts. So The Verge and Gizmodo and Engadget and Recode and All Things D, and there are so many of them. And they are great, and I love them, and I love the people, and I read them. They're on my bookmarks bar, for God's sake. All I'm saying is, they're not the people, the readers of those sites are not the people writing to me 1,000 times a week going, I don't get it. What is Bitcoin? What camera should I buy? I erased my memory card before I was ready. How do I get them back? That's not those people. So I'm saying there's 2 audiences out there in the world. And man, those sites did not like that at all. So I've just made 1,000 enemies. It was supposed to be a joke. I apologize. Anyway, so I'm convinced that there is this vast, in fact, I'm convinced that the audience I imagine is larger than the audience of people for whom technology is their livelihood or hobby. I say that the world, so first of all, I have to tell you the other element of going to Yahoo. You want to know how big the readership of Yahoo is as a publication? 800 million a month. 800 million readers. I mean, I love the New York Times, but it's 100 times the readership. So it's a really intoxicating prospect to put my stuff in front of those people. So anyway, so that's what we set out to do with YahooTech. And it opened yesterday. I threw the switch on the CES stage, and I thought I'd just show it to you because we've been working our butts off on it since October, and it's really, really cool. So the idea here is, unlike any other site, everything is made of tiles, every article, every video, but when you click a tile, something wild happens. Here, let me hide the favorites part to make room. When you click a tile, rather than opening a new tab or a new window, which, let's face it, on a phone is a frickin' nightmare. You click a link, and then a new window opens, and now you're done with the article. How do you go back? On the iPhone, there's not even a back button. They hide it now. So you have to know that you have to scroll up, or is it down? You have to scroll down to make the back button appear. Who knows that? So you're lost. Here, you'll never get lost, because when you click a tile, I'll click my Mac Pro review right here. Watch what happens. It expands in place right there. I'm still on the same page. Those are the tiles above. Here are the tiles below. I never left the page. So I can keep, thank you very much. I've never seen that before. So I can close the article with the X, or I can just keep right on browsing and click something else. We're the only ones who are going to be reviewing Kickstarter projects, by the way. And I think it's a really cool idea, because if you're being asked to fund some inventor's project, but if it's never even been looked at by an outside critic, how do you know if it's any good? I know so many people who've gotten burned backing these projects, and then they never saw anything. So I'm going to actually get the inventor's prototype, try it out, and write up the status of their project and whether the underlying idea is sound. This was the first one. It's this amazing razor. It's a surgical stainless steel blade that lasts 5 years, because every time you're done shaving, you put it back into the stand, it sharpens it for you after every shave. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. You buy a Mach 3, and after 4 days, it's not as sharp anymore, right? It's the old razor blades model. So anyway, unfortunately, and you have to use this badger brush and the special soap, and that was me after I tried it. It really didn't work. And it was $600. So, and the inventor was like, but the inventor demonstrated for me, and it worked like his skin looked like a baby. I mean, I met the guy in a coffee shop, and he took me into the bathroom so we could shave together. You too can be part of the wonderful world of tech reviewing. I mean, how weird was that? But when he did it, it came out like amazing. So it turns out that it is, in effect, a straight razor. And you shave with it very differently from a standard drugstore thing where you just hack away. Like he sent me all these diagrams. No, you need to do 5 degrees the first time and 30 degrees the second time. And anyway, so then I get to the bottom of the article. Oh, and here's the best part. No one else is going to be able to copy this idea of reviewing Kickstarter projects. You know why? Because each inventor only has 2 prototypes. I'm going to have one of them. Anyway, so I just think that's so cool. So you click here, it expands, you never get lost. And on a phone, it's brilliant because you never have to leave the page, you never have to hit back, you never get lost, there's no multiple windows. What's really amazing is look at the top. The URL, the web address, actually changes when you've opened an article so that you can share it or send it or whatever. Isn't that cool? But you're on the same page. I don't know how, so when I close this, I'm on YahooTech. But when I open an article, I'm in a totally new URL. Anyway, so here's our, yeah, it's very cool. So here's our emphasis. We have 5 weekday columns, Monday through Friday. And this was so awesome. They said, dude, money is no object. That's the other thing. Yahoo, for God's sake, is the last deep-pocketed journalistic outlet in America. I mean, they spend on journalism. And they said, I want to have a column every day on different areas. You know, one person will cover children and parenting. That's Dan Tynan, second from left. He wrote for PC World and Family Circle. I want to have one on the policy of tech, both laws and corporate policy and even etiquette, the rules that bind us in tech. I want to have one on the intersection of pop culture and online culture. I want to have one person, a meme hunter, one person dedicated to explaining whatever the hell everybody's buzzing about this week. You know, Bitcoin or, you know, what is that? What does the Fox say video? Why would they make that? You know. And so that is Deb Amlin here. She writes for the New York Times. So anyway, so Yahoo said, hire who you want. I mean, I literally got to not poach. That's maybe a little aggressive. Poach whoever I wanted from the whole world. So Rob Pegarauer came from the Washington Post. Rob Walker's from the New York Times. She's from the New York Times. He's from PC World and Family Circle. I'm from Broadway. And they are so freaking funny. They are so amazing. This is one of Deb's columns, Selfies, or Why I'm Worried About Our Youth. And Dan, if this is a Kids at Play session, you got to read Dan Tynan's columns. So his column is called Modern Family, and it's all about parenting. I love his allusion to parents and other purported authority figures. They're so funny. They're so authoritative. And they wanted us to launch the site yesterday with 120 articles already in place. I'm like, are you kidding? That's so weird. It's like there's an archive on day 1? But they said, yeah, you don't want to show up to an empty site. So we did. We wrote all through the holidays. And there are 120 videos and articles on the site already. And so I want to read his column, then I want to read more of his columns. You just click his name. And then these are all of Dan's columns, all ready to go. So there may be one other thing you might be noticing that isn't on the site. This makes me happiest of all. There is not a single display ad. There are no banners. There's nothing that blinks at you. There's nothing that comes across the screen and interrupts what you're reading. And that is because Yahoo is deciding. So first of all, this is one of a number of digital magazines they're launching. The food one also launched yesterday. It's similar in concept and also has no display ads. And the reason is what we want to do is have sponsored articles. That is, it will be an article just like this or whatever, just like this, but it'll be marked as a sponsored post. So instead of Canon buying an ad and taking up your screen space with an article about how great Canon's SLRs are, Canon will write an article for us on how to use filters or how to shop for a lens, and it'll be branded as Canon. It'll be their logo. The goodwill that you feel will be for Canon. But meanwhile, you'll be reading an article with real value, with really useful stuff. And I think it's so, so smart. And so all of the ads will be in that form. They will all be useful information brought to you by some sponsor. Fine. I mean, let's face it, we're a commercial entity. But I'd much rather have that than my delicate, limited screen space, especially on the phone, eaten up by stupid ads that I'm not going to read anyway. So that's the basis of YahooTech. It's filled with videos. Here's our reviews. Look at this, day one. Wait, that's not right. There's supposed to be a lot more than that. Anyway, I've already got a bunch of videos up there. This is, and the other thing is we have a big focus. As far as I'm concerned, most of the technology sites out there right now are just about what to buy, which is very important, very useful. You want to know how it compares. But then you're just kind of like left by the curb. Like, well, then what? What if it goes wrong? What if it has features that you don't know about? So our motto is what to buy and how to use it. So we have a huge how-to and troubleshooting focus. We have 2 editors just dedicated to how-to and focus. Here's my Kickstarter reviews. So anyway, so that's the gist of YahooTech. I'm so proud of it, and I think the way it works is so cool. And by the way, this is really weird. I've never worked in a company before. I'm 50 years old. I've never had health insurance from a company. I've never been issued a laptop. I've never had to go to meetings. I've never had insufferable superiors. I still don't, thank God. But so it's been a really weird experience for me. Like the videos that I've made for many years for the Times. Most of those I make myself. I put the camera on a tripod with a remote control. I sit down, I hit record, I talk to it, I stop it, I edit it myself, I put music to it, and it's all manual. So now all of a sudden, here's Yahoo with this incredible video expertise, and they have a giant green screen studio, and they're all just like flooding me with support and stuff like that. So I forgot why I brought that up, but I've never worked for a company before. But anyway, it's a crazy new world, and you're looking impatient.
No,
so.
I'm not looking impatient. I just was curious. You found a way to fund content that doesn't bias the writer. You don't know who the sponsors are when you write an article?
No. It's just the same as the New York Times.
Kind of like the NPR, or the NPR model. So
Right. Well, I mean, look. So I have heard one knock about this native advertising idea, where there will be articles brought to you by, and that is, well, how is that different from an advertorial, which has a really bad connotation? And to me, it's like people. Every magazine, every article is paid for by advertising. Even the ones not labeled advertorial, even every article, the whole operation is paid for by advertising. It has to be. That's why magazines exist, is to make money. If the magazine does not make money, the magazine folds. So you have to sell ads. So I'm just saying, let's call a spade a spade. Let's label the ones that are written and prepared by the sponsor. But in other regards, it is separation of church and state, just as at the New York Times or anywhere. Editorial does not even know the names of the salespeople. We have nothing to do with selling those ads.
And the money is rolling in.
Well, we haven't put the ads in yet because we just launched yesterday. Right now, we're still like debugging and getting it ready. But we have 4 things we're going to be adding in the next few weeks. Right now, we have no comments. And that was my insistence, because I cannot stand watching meaningful Did I hurt you?
No, it's great. It's a vibration that went right through my.
Think of it as a good subwoofer. So I cannot stand seeing meaningful comments discussion devolve into cesspools. It happens every time. Some of these newspapers just shut down their comment sections. You know what happens, right? The drive-by anonymous idiots come in and poison the well so that people with meaningful things to say take a look at it and they're like, I'm not getting involved. And it becomes self-fulfilling, right? They poison the comment section with, you tard, like, this is meaningful discourse. And so they drive out the good people, and pretty soon the comments are worthless. They're just hate, just seething cauldrons of haters. So I wanted Yahoo to write me from scratch a new comment system that prevents anonymity, it prevents drive-by idiots, it permits moderation, and it permits all the other readers to vote comments up or down so that they sort according to how useful they are. So that's not ready yet, but it'll be coming soon. RSS feeds we're going to add. You'll be able to subscribe by email to the columns you like, and search. We don't have search just for the site.
So,
yet.
ladies and gentlemen, Robin has just whispered in my ear that we've seen the first phone, tablet, and we're not just now seeing some major breakthroughs, in my opinion, in terms of reviewing, in terms of monetizing editorial content. No small
and paying
thing.
writers.
Paying writers fairly. By the way, if you need more writers, David, we might know a few.
Sure. And I have to say, I stand humbled, David. I started YahooTech 6 years ago.
Yes, this is not the first attempt. That's
with
right.
Less tools, less everything, and I am humbled at what you've done because it just looks so fabulous, and I think that we are just so very lucky. So, any questions, comments for David? We have to send him out, and I'm coming. Questions? Did I see a question?
And then we have a mic here.
Hey, David, what's up?
Hey.
So site looks great, and there's like a lot of good ideas here. Though, should people be worried about? So it's clearly a Yahoo site. Should people be worried about Yahoo bias in news articles?
Well, yes, in that we can't really write about Yahoo products. That's the one problem I'm going to have, is they have some cool stuff coming up, and I'm not going to be able to say anything. Is there a bias apart from that?
No, I just meant for like Yahoo products coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Okay. So what's interesting is, so it kills me because Yahoo came out yesterday. Do you remember how they bought this teenager for $30 million last spring? This 17-year-old from England named Nick Delosio. I actually interviewed him this morning, and he had written this super mega cool app that, well, what he's done for Yahoo is he converted his old summarization app into this amazing free app. You should download it right now, called Yahoo News Digest. The name makes it sound much more boring than it is. It takes all the news of the day from all the sources, AP, Reuters, New York Times, all the sources, and boils them down to 9 news stories you need to know about this morning. And it uses summarization technology to literally take sentences and graphics and maps and stock graphs from all these different sources. It actually constructs new paragraphs from multiple sites using artificial intelligence to present you the exact concise version of that news story that you need to know. And it's beautiful. Like all of Yahoo's stuff lately is beautiful. It's really beautiful. Anyway, so, but it kills me. I can't review it. I can't write about it. So I'm sort of wondering how we're going to, like one thing I thought of, at least for this thing, is what I should do is I should write a review, but I should call a spade and say, look, he's a Yahoo guy now. I'm a Yahoo guy. I can't possibly be expected to have an objective lens on this guy's app. So what I'll do is I'll write the review, and then I will black out every descriptive or judgment-related word. Redact it. So it'll be a purely descriptive piece with no decisions made, no judgments made. Maybe people would find that amusing and still get the point that they should check out the app. But yes, it's going to be an increasing frustration for me, but I can't review that stuff.
We have about 43 more seconds. Quick question, any more comments? Yes.
Hi, David.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, in the flesh.
All Things D had the D conference. TechCrunch has Disrupt. Various other publications have this sort of in-person thing. Are we going to see Pogue-rupt? Are we going to see all things Pogue?
I would like to do a conference. Yes, I would. I think right now all the tech conferences, you're going to hear that same antagonistic thing from me right now that got me into such trouble yesterday. But all the conferences right now, they charge $4,000 a person, and they are for CEOs and executives and press to attend on business expenses, business accounts. I want to have a technology and this event is closed to the public. This event is for press and industry people. So I would like to have a conference that is for normal people, that helps them learn what their stuff is. I want to have the CEO at Christmas time. Maybe we should have it. And I want to have the CEOs of Sony, Panasonic, Apple, blah, 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 march onto the stage, and each person gets 4 minutes, no buzzwords, 4 minutes on stage to show what's new for the holiday season, and then get them off. Just like force them to speak human. And anyway, I'm filled with ideas. So yes, I would like to do that. And welcome.